Okay people, so Dragon Ball Super Chapter 66 has finally arrived, and seemingly the conclusion and the climax to the Moro arc has finally shown up. It has finally happened, and I gotta be honest with you guys, like, all my criticisms that I've had in terms of this arc have still been valid. There's definitely been a lot of issues with this arc. Some of the times the spoilers would be a little bit misleading in terms of what we actually got in the end, but still a lot of problems with this arc. But I gotta say, there was some positive things regarding this chapter once we got it as a whole, so I do want to be fair in terms of, yeah, there was some bad, but there also was some good. So we're gonna dive into everything that happened, the introduction or reintroduction, I guess, or just showing him yet again, Oob, in Dragon Ball Super's manga, Dragon Ball Super story, because I believe we saw him, what was it, at the end of the Tournament of Power? We've seen him at some point in Dragon Ball Super as well. I think it was towards the end of the anime. So we got that in there. We got Beerus and Whis setting up, in my opinion, for the next arc, assuming that the manga doesn't end after this, which I don't think it will. So we got a lot to cover. I guess without further ado, people, let's talk some of that Dragon Ball Super, the conclusion to the Moro arc, Chapter 66. Let's do it.
I say we gonna do what we do, no matter how you move, make your move. That's how it be though.
Okay people, so the chapter opens up with the Z Warriors alongside Earthlings, regular people as well, noticing that their key is being stolen, because the Z Warriors, obviously they've gotten up since their last ass whipping at the hands of Moro. They all have gotten up and they're noticing that their key is getting sucked out. Humans, regular people are noticing like, yo, why do I feel heavy? What's going on? I'm feeling lightheaded, so to speak. And of course it's because Moro is in full effect draining everybody's key. And I love Vegeta's reaction. I love Vegeta's reaction when he's like, oh god damn it, Kakarot messed up again, what the hell? I loved it. I imagine his voice in my head when I'm reading that dialogue, and I'm like, yeah, I know Vegeta's pissed. I don't blame him. He got cheated out of a moment. And I'll be honest with you, before we move further, this whole Moro arc in general has been an amalgamation and just in general a combination of a good chunk of the big Dragon Ball Z sagas that we had throughout its story. Like, if you just think about it, it took a little bit of Cell earlier on. It felt like Frieza when he went to Namek. This chapter in particular definitely felt like the end of the Kid Buu fight. In fact, there was some Kid Buu references, but it clearly felt like the Kid Buu fight when they were trying to power up Goku to throw the Spirit Bomb and all that shit. Like, it definitely felt like they really wanted to hit on certain aspects of nostalgia when it came to this chapter of like, yo, remember this, remember that. So I could definitely see it again, especially towards the end with Goku and Vegeta and what was going on. But we got Goku, he's blocking Moro because Moro is just on a rampage at this point, and Goku, like, he's still an Ultra Instinct, so he's still able to, like, you know, defend himself from it. But you could definitely see that he's clearly, like, in the beginning of the chapter at a loss of like, well, what the hell do I do? Like, you know what I'm saying? This dude is out of control. With Whis telling Beerus and them there is one way Goku can defeat him, but I'm not sure if he's capable of it or whatnot. And I'll be honest with you, I said it in spoilers and I'll say it again. When Beerus was like, alright, I'm gonna have to step in, you know, the other gods are gonna look at me a certain way, let me just, you know, take care of this situation, I was like, oh shit, you know, because again, Beerus's job, he rarely does it. He just sits back, eats pizza, eats food, and relaxes and watches and shit like that. And it almost feels like Beerus and Whis, if you think about it, it's kind of like Toriyama and Toyotaro just watching the plot after it writes itself, so to speak. So it was interesting to see that Beerus was actually going to step in. But then, of course, due to what happened with Beerus, the Grand Priest calls in and summons Whis and Beerus immediately. So Beerus has to say Ixnay, which, again, if you're going to have, and I said this with the spoilers, I think even with the rough drafts, if you're going to have a reasoning behind taking Beerus out, because like, okay, he stepped up, he said, I gotta do what I gotta do, just like when he went up against Zama's all those chapters ago in the Goku Black, you know, arc and all that stuff. Like, okay, he's gonna have to step up, but if you're gonna have him dip out and shit, at least make it make sense. And again, I'm satisfied with how it was done with the Grand Priest calling in, because yeah, Beerus just seemingly died. He's going to want an explanation, and we've already seen, it's been showcased time and time again, that Beerus is really scared of Zeno and them, so he's going to say, screw it, I'm out of here, I gotta go, which it felt realistic for his character. But not without Whis still being an instructor. It feels as though the entirety of Dragon Ball Super, Whis has been like the Master Roshi, or just, you know, Goku Sensei, because even before he leaves, which it's hilarious because Moro is throwing like, you know, haymaker punches, and Whis is so strong, which showcases just again that even with Ultra Instinct, Goku is not nowhere near on the level of like the angels and shit, because with one finger he is stopping Moro's punches while he's explaining to Goku like, hey, if you want to beat him, from that crystal in the middle of his forehead, which the way Dragon Ball Super with the introduction of Beerus and Whis from the very beginning has been, it's just very different. It's very interesting that you have these two gods, essentially, an angel and a god of destruction, that they have the keys to stop all of this whenever they want. Like, you see that, I mean, they're not supposed to or whatever, especially Whis, he's not supposed to get involved, but whenever he wants, if he wanted to, he could immediately stop the threat. You see, again, like, he has the power with one finger to stop Moro's punches. They could end it all, and on top of that, giving tips, like, hey, the crystal in the middle of his forehead, you gotta do that, that's how you win. It's interesting. It's something different than what we had with, like, and I guess that also separates from, like, Dragon Ball Z, aside from the writing, but that's a different story. It gives it a different twist of, like, yeah, at any given time, this could all end, which I guess if you think about it, there never really is a threat in Dragon Ball Super, if you really want to say, because like Beerus and Whis really have the power to stop shit. But Beerus and Whis dip out, they go over, you know, they leave to the Grand Priest, and then Vegeta shows up and he's like, fuck out the way, Kakarot, you a pussy ass motherfucker, you don't know what you're doing, get out! And he immediately hits with a Spirit Fission punch to the floor, and he starts popping out the crystal from Moro's head because he keeps like sucking it in so Goku can't get to it, and he's like, yo, I'm giving you the time, go do what you gotta do, let's finish this motherfucker off. And I'm glad to a certain degree, like, because with the spoilers and everything we've been seeing, yeah, it does feel like Vegeta was cheated out on a lot of different things. It still feels like that. Even with the end of the chapter, I feel as though this was a perfect opportunity for Vegeta to have moments. But once you get all the context, it feels like while Goku gets the end game blow, these things right here wouldn't be possible without Vegeta. Vegeta's strength is pivotal. This chapter, it showcases, and of course it pushes forward, yeah, Goku is the main character, but Vegeta is not so far removed from being the secondary main character. Like, he's still there. That Spirit Fission, if it wasn't for that alone, there would have been no hope to begin with. And Moro's body starts deflating with Goku headed towards him to attack the crystal yet again, but he doesn't have enough god power. He is stopped by Moro's giant, like, you know, at this point it became like a video game. Like, I feel as though the ending of this whole battle, like the last chapter 2, once Moro merged with Earth and shit like that, it's going to make for a great an amazingly fun boss battle in a video game, because that's really what it felt like. And then Goku getting stopped, like, it feels like quick time events and all sorts of shit. Like, this would be great for a video game. It's when it comes to a manga, like, it's cool, it's not like horrible or anything like that. Again, spoilers always make it feel like it's worse than it actually is, but it's like, oh, okay, you know, we need a little extra things to happen, which again leads into a lot more of that ending of Kid Buu stuff with Goku getting stopped and he's weakened and he needs more help. And then Jocko heads off because he has an idea, which you could only imagine that, okay, it's going to help out with the plot. I wish he would have said something to Krillin like, oh, I got an errand to run. What fucking errand you got? The whole universe is about to get blown to bits. What errand do you have to run, my friend? You could have just told him, yo, I got a great idea right now. Come with me if you want. I don't know. I'm out of here. Like, something like that. Like, I got an errand to run. Shut up! But then Goku loses the UI form. Obviously, his ki has been sucked beyond belief. Like, Moro is a great sucker. Pause some motherfucker. Then the Z Warriors show up and they're like, yo, we got a big brain idea. How about if you could do Spirit Fission one way, can't you do it in a reverse way? Take our ki and give it to Goku. Essentially, like, doing a lot of Spirit Bomb. Like, again, you know, thinking about it, the Spirit Bomb was a very heavy influence for a lot of this thing. Like, Moro's technique of absorbing shit is a Spirit Bomb thing. Now this, it feels as though it's like turning it into, in a weird way, like a Spirit Bomb, but to give ki to Goku for a Spirit Bomb in a way. So again, that's more adding to that whole feeling like the ending of Kid Buu type of vibe, with all the Z Warriors saying, yo, give him the ki. And then eventually it's the Z Warriors that are there, everybody on the lookout, and Goten and Trunks, which, hey, they exist, and seemingly they're at 17's, you know, island, because they're wearing, like, it looks like 17's shirt and shit like that. So that's what Goten and Trunks have been doing. I'm imagining whenever we get the anime back, there's going to be more scenes with them, but they've been irrelevant over there with 17, like, hey. But it's not enough ki because Goku can only go blue and he still can't reach. Yo, I ain't gonna lie, I just thought of the most perverted metaphor of what is going on here, of Goku not being able to reach the crystal. Oh my god, but I'm gonna leave that up to you guys' imagination, because that shit is fucking hilarious. And Jocko reaches the lookout and asks where's Majin Buu so he could help out. And I'm wondering, because it seems as though there was like a couple of panels that were maybe cut out. Like, why didn't we see Jocko go and wake up Buu or something? Because it seemed as though he was going to ask Buu, and it seems as though it was Buu that led into what happens with Oob. So I don't understand why have Jocko go to the lookout, and maybe I missed it, whatever, but I didn't see no pages of Jocko talking to Buu. We just cut from that to all of a sudden the Grand Supreme Kai with Oob, which I think that's just an inner monologue into his head. Then we just cut to the Grand Supreme Kai down there with Oob, and I'm just kind of like, so we just missed the scene or something? Like, I was a little bit confused there. Like, was that an inner monologue, or did Boo turn into him for a moment and went down there to Oob? Like, a little bit confusing there. And I ain't gonna lie, for a moment there, I had like no sympathy for Goku when he's there being squished up and shit, and he's like, I'm sorry guys, this is all my fault. No shit, Sherlock. No fucking shit. Maybe you should have learned your lesson, huh? You should have learned your lesson, Sonny. The last time you gave us Senzu Bean, and when Cell blew his ass up and almost killed Earth and everything, like, you should have learned then. Yeah, it is your fault. No sympathy, fam. None. And then you got Yamcha there like, yo, fam, dog. Like, why don't we go get those big old Dragon Balls in space, bro? Like, we got time, right? Like, Yamcha, shut your irrelevant ass up. Nobody asked you a goddamn thing. Just shut up, you two, motherfucker. Like, nobody cares. But of course, you know, they don't have no time for any of that because Moro's about to blow any second, and Moro has gone insane. And I'm not even gonna lie, Moro's expression, he's like, ah! I'm just like, this is him. This is Yao King, fam. This is the final villain. He's just absolutely brain dead at this point. Oh, like, what in the blue? Okay, alright, whatever. And it's wild that all the Z Warriors there essentially accepted death. They knew that they were like, you know, Vegeta's like, there's no other way, this and that. They're like, well, if we're all gonna die, let's not let Goku die that way at the very least. Let's go pull him out of there. Like, they legitimately were about to pull Goku out of Moro's hand or out of Moro's clutches just so they could die there together so that he don't die like that. Like, that was wild that they actually genuinely gave up hope. And if it wasn't for this final last second edition, it would have been all over because they genuinely like, we lost. And if that would have went down like that, oh my god, imagine Dragon Ball, which obviously it wouldn't have because they got to keep going, but that would have been horrible. Then some mysterious key gets sent to Goku, God Ki at that, not just regular Ki to turn him into blue. Some God Ki heads towards Goku, and we see the Grand Supreme Kai holding Oob and instructing him to put his hand there, which in my opinion, this was all a major, huge setup to make Oob relevant for the end of Z, because you got to think about it like this, right? Them having him have God Ki and making it connect, a lot of this actually fixes and really more so squeezes Dragon Ball Super back into continuity with Z, because Oob, up until this arc, right? Oob has just been looked at like, oh, he's the reincarnation of Kid Buu. Who cares? We're like 10 billion times stronger than that at this point. He's nothing. He's worthless. Like, no one cares about him. That makes the ending of Z feel worthless. But the fact of this arc introducing the Grand Supreme Kai, or not reintroducing him, and how important he was to this battle with Moro, and the fact that he was reincarnation into Oob, so essentially Oob had God Ki, and Oob giving the God Ki to Goku, it really just fixed that problem, that issue of squeezing Dragon Ball Super into the continuity between the ending of Z, of, you know, the time to beat Majin Buu, and the time of the ending of the tournament and shit like that. So it kind of made it a little bit more acceptable. I still feel as though, like, can we please disregard GT? And I wouldn't even be mad if they disregarded the ending of Z, but this solidified that they're not disregarding the ending of Z, and in fact they found a great way to fix that issue of Kid Buu feeling absolutely garbage and relevant to the story. And why is Oob so important if he's just the reincarnation of some weak motherfucker that we killed a long time ago? But Vegeta passes the God Ki to Goku, and Goku decides to create a Susanoo. Naruto fans know what I'm talking about. Basically makes this giant Goku energy looking thing, which is like wrestling with Moro for a second there, which I don't know how or why, because isn't Moro like brain dead at this point? But like, he's there wrestling with him, trying to take him down, while the little actual real form of Goku charges in, blasting the crystal down, ending Moro, end of the Moro arc. We get a thumbs up from Goku at the end of like, hey, it's all over, because Moro crumbles and shit like that. End of it all. I gotta be honest with you now. The final verdict of this, and seemingly the wrap up of this arc, because Moro is seemingly done. I think next chapter we finish off this arc completely, like, you know, the little aftermath and set up for the next one. Overall, this arc had a lot of problems. I think that this chapter was good. It wasn't horrible or anything like that. Again, compared to the spoilers and shit like that, it was not that bad. It felt very, again, nostalgic and reminiscent of certain aspects. It felt like it squeezed in a lot of the ending of Kid Buu, a remix of it, so to speak, with this. So it wasn't as bad. It feels as though the Moro arc in general was a huge homage to just like majority of the stuff we've seen in Dragon Ball Z, like, you know, Cell, Goku given the Senzu Bean, the final struggle to take down, like a lot of different things. It really felt like it was remixing stuff that we've seen in Dragon Ball Z. But This chapter, I wasn't mad at it. I was actually happy that they fixed that problem with Oob and his relevance to the ending of Dragon Ball Z, considering in Super, again, Kid Buu is irrelevant and garbage. Still upset and pissed off that it wasn't Vegeta that had the final win, but it is what it is. Goku really didn't even have the final win. It was everybody together, kind of pushing forth that Shonen Jump friendship shit of like, you know, everybody that worked together is how it was defeated. If it wasn't for everybody's efforts, they would have never defeated Moro. It was cool to see Oob again, like I said, and yeah, as a whole, it wasn't as horrible as I thought it would be. Is it great? Is it, oh my god, no, but it was okay. It was like a cool ending to a very controversial arc, to say the least. I'm very curious what you guys think about this. How did you feel about the ending of the Moro arc? How did you feel about the inclusion of Oob with the Grand Supreme Kai? What did you think about that? How did you feel about Goku's giant form fighting against Moro? How did you feel about how it was handled with Ultra Instinct? What did you think about Whis and Beerus dipping out? And your overall thoughts of the Moro arc as a whole? Again, I want to say that with Whis and Beerus headed toward the Grand Priest, I'm imagining that's going to set up for whatever's going to happen next, whether maybe the Grand Priest is upset, very angry, and that's going to start the following arc after he lectures them, or something along the lines of that. I think that's set up for the next arc, but yeah, Moro arc, yay or nay? I felt as though there was a lot of nay, a lot of especially from like late midway towards the end, but Moro, it had some good to it. I'm not going to completely dismiss the start, especially the start. Like the starting of Moro, the first half of Moro was great, him whipping Goku and Vegeta's ass. A lot of it was great. It was the later half that it was just kind of like, I didn't think they have it planned all the way. And of course, teasing that Vegeta was going to be the Omega, the Grandioso, and it was just like, hey, you know, Vegeta, hand me my wallet, hand me a cup of water, I'm trying to finish this, Goku said to Vegeta. No? But yeah, and your expectations for chapter 67 with next month's chapter, the ending of Moro's startup of a new arc. Looking forward to seeing where it goes. Maybe the Grand Priest is angry and he decides to do something and we gotta rescue Beerus or some shit. That'd be crazy, but yeah. That's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule. Anime and manga for life. Bye. Have an awesome day. Peace in. And yeah, that was the Moro arc. It's over. Kind of thankful that it's over. No, have an awesome one, people.
It's nights like this and times like this that I can give another hit, but I've got this inside a switch, a natural bliss, but that I know.